in the Third World through a criticism that alters public opinion, thereby describing the film as the film subjects as idle, disenfranchised underdogs in need of British sympathy. Initially, I assumed that Miles used the phrase Third World, or use of the phrase Third World was also at fault, underlining her sympathies further, as the categorical label is used to describe states that are considered to be underdeveloped in terms of their economy or level of industrialization, globalization, standard of living, health, and education. To describe India specifically, Mumbai, I would have preferred a less politically charged label, such as developing nation, which in its most basic sense focuses on the ongoing development over current underdevelopment. Given the etymology of the labels, however, this politically correct distinction is not correct. The label Third World was first used by the economist and demographer Alfred Sauvé on August 14, 1952, in referring to countries called either developing or underdeveloped, especially in Hindu Asia, Latin America, Africa, and Oceania, that were aligned with either the communist Soviet bloc and the capitalist NATO bloc during the Cold War. Thus, within the label Third World, the sub-distinction between developing and underdeveloped is maintained and utilized as a more specific identifier, and any difference between the two could be written off as semantics. For the purpose of this essay, I will not hang my hat on the fact that the label Developing Nation better describes India within the context of the film, and that the label Third World could, within politically correct circles, be construed as an insult, because it groups developing and underdeveloping nations together in a single category. The real reason I call Miles into question is her decision to defend the underdog. In most cases, this would be a noble task. Miles is, however, railing against a film that succeeds at this very task. In essence, she misses the point. Could it be that this film defies its genre by repacking the underdog stock character as a protagonist contender in this rags-to-riches story in a new and informed way? Has this film represented its genre so well that it defies recognition? Or could it be that a change of landscape renders a well-known story unrecognizable? Cinderella, after all, is not a native of Mumbai, India. Or has the success of this film been its own demise? By reveling in the film, are we, as Miles would suggest, reveling in the misery of India's children? In a February 20th article entitled The Real Roots of the Slumdog Protest, Chitra Divakarani, author of Palace of Illusions, Amrush Sinha, instructor of film and media studies, and Cecilia Shepard, author of The Girl from Foreign, discussed the real reason behind the protests. At the heart of discussion is balking at the fact that Danny Boyle, who is British, has created a film about slum life that ignores India's recent prosperity. But is that accurate? At a key point in the film, the characters pause on the roof of an unfinished skyscraper, and this is actually a screenshot from that scene. The film's protagonist Jamal and his brother Salim reflect on Mumbai's changing landscape. Pointing to their former slum home, Salim says, That used to be our slum. Can you believe that, huh? We used to live right there, man. Now it's all business. India's at the center of the world now. And I am at the center of the center. The panel agrees that the film's message is gritty and upbeat, and that the term slumdog clearly the term slumdog is not the director's evaluation of the main character or anyone in the slums. That the people protesting against the title have either not seen the movie or have not understood the context in which the word was used. They argue that in the movie, the word slumdog is never used as a general description of the people in the slums. This statement is nonetheless also inaccurate, as the term is used repeatedly to describe Jamal, a product of the slums, and the film's protagonist. The term slumdog is used as a direct evaluation of Jamal. He is tortured while in police custody, accused of cheating because a slumdog could not possess the ability to win Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when doctors and professors fail at the game. It is Boyle's insistence on the true grit of the film's title that allows the upswing of the underdog story to really shine. Because Jamal was evaluated a level below his capacity and succeeds against impossible odds, slumdogs are the future of India. And actually you'll see in some of these posters that the kids are holding up, they're saying, "I'm not a dog," and they also say that they are the future of India. It is the grit that troubles Miles. She writes, "I was wincing in my seat. The film opens with a scene of horrible violence. A man hanging from the ceiling of a police station being tortured to unconsciousness, a trickle of blood running down his mouth. It moves swiftly to scenes of utter misery and depravity, in which small starving children are beaten, mutilated, and perverted. Mothers die horribly in front of their sons. Small girls are turned into prostitutes, small boys into beggars. I hope it won't spoil the feel-good surprise if I tell you that one particularly sadistic scene shows a young boy with his eyes burned out with acid to maximize the profits of street begging. Charities working with street children in India seem unaware of any instances of this, although Save the Children emphasizes that similar violence against children by beggar mafia is well documented. The film is brilliant, horrifying, compelling, and awful." Comparing the film to pornographic voyeurism, Miles evokes the label poverty porn to describe the film. Troubled by the British Board of Film Classification title or description of comedy, Miles writes, "So maybe that's it. I didn't get the joke." Miles is right to reject the genre classification. Many of us know that the most telling fairy tales are an even mix of remarkably dark and remarkably light material. In a review for the Mumbai-based online newspaper, Veranda Nabar describes Slumdogs' eventual victory as coming at a price. When the selective manipulation of third-world squalor can be made into the feel-good movie in a dismal year, the global village has a long way to go. Miles is not, however, arguing for the well-being of the global village. Her aversion to the voyeuristic nature of the film is an argument against voyeurism of all films. One need only ask whether Cinderella is a particularly voyeuristic tale of slum tourism to know that Slumdog is not poverty porn. Miles' fear of Slumdog is a fear of violence, and for that I'd be happy to prescribe hours of Grand Theft Auto. That's it.
Thank you very much, Catherine.